Today we are live with the man who has two passions. One happens to be creative writing, and the second one is Bollywood. So we have Vishal Bheeroo online with us. Hi Vishal, how are you?
Hi Sandeep, thanks so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity and hi to everyone who's joining us on Facebook.
Excellent, excellent. So Vishal himself happens to be a journalist. In fact, we've reversed roles today, and for a change, Vishal is sitting on the hot seat. He usually makes people sit on the hot seat and investigate details which are interesting. So just a bit of a background about Vishal. Vishal started his career as a sub-editor in 2010, and since then he has worked in various English publications in Mauritius, which include magazines, newspapers, and websites. Uh, Vishal studied in India at the popular Ferguson College of Pune, and he studied economics. Uh, I'm assuming there's a major career shift that happened from economics to the to journalism, where today Vishal is a freelance writer, blogger, communications consultant, and he's worked with multiple organizations and publications. So my first question, Vishal, what
Yes,
prompted this career shift from economics to journalism?
I think it happened by accident because after I finished my economics graduation and postgrad, right for my postgrad in Mumbai, I was clueless, don't know what to do, what not to do. I worked as a teacher for 1 year in Mauritius, and then writing was always my passion, owing to my formative years at Ferguson College, like you rightly told, that has defined me as a person. Then one day I found, since I am a person who is well versed mostly in English and I'm not a really French speaking person for that matter. So it was a bit difficult for me. So one day I saw an ad in a newspaper, which is now closed in English. It's called The Independent, looking for sub editors. I'm like, okay, I'll just take a chance, sent an application. They called me for a round of discussion for a test. So I didn't expect to be selected in the first place because somehow I have to admit I left the test midway, like finished three quarter out of it because it was a bit, translation from French to English, which is a bit like, I wouldn't say irritating, but yeah, I'm not too fond of that translation thing going on because, like I told you, I'm mostly my forte is English, not French. So they called me for an interview. We had a very informal interview with the HR manager, and then he like, okay, you're selected for the job. And we had this was very the question that the guy told me was, what was the last movie you watched? And he's like, relax, like you're trained to become a journalist. What matters is expressing yourself, not just typical routine question and answers like you have in say in corporates or government job. What matters is be able to express yourself because he saw my CV, passion movies. So what was the last movie? So then after that, he introduced me to the head of department. My head of department was someone who was to become my first mentor, who was a former Times of India and India Today person. And whatever little I have learned in journalism is because of her, the hard work, the rigorous discipline, the scolding, and that's how it happened by accident. Sub-editor for 1 year, struggled a bit with the job because sub-editor, your job is not just to correct, but you need to arrange all article, you assign a particular page, say page 3, and then you have to go to the designers, and then they have to put the page like it would appear on the newspaper. And if it is too text heavy, you just ask them to put a blur or a quote or picture just to give an indication how it worked at that time. Graveyard shift, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, till the page is not okayed by the editor, you don't have any choice but to stay in the office. So there were times when I would reach home at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning complaining. But then after 1 year, I got used to it. It became a part of my life. And I think, yes, destiny calling.
Excellent, excellent. So you've grown as a writer. You worked with multiple publications and
Yes.
organizations, and it is very kind of you to give back to the society in terms of the skills or experience that you've gained. You're developing a workshop and a course with edVentr, which is on the art of writing. or rather the art of creative writing, right? So, to you, does writing come very naturally? Have you grown with that talent or skill, or you have evolved in your learning?
I think I would say both of them. Because see, there's something I always tell based on my experience. Everyone can be a writer, and I say it out of experience. It's not that I have some special, extraordinary, superior skills that others don't have. I think I've been fortunate to meet the right kind of people. Like I told you, being at during the college days in India at Ferguson College, my friend who has been extremely supportive. But yeah, a friend always tells me, I never knew you had the skills of being a writer. It's only later that I discovered that you have the skills as a writer. And then my first mentor, Kohel Imam, who was my chief editor at The Independent. Again, The Independent was a newspaper formed by former Times of India people. So I was grown with that skills, and I always believe that to learn something, you must be able to be whipped. Not literally, of course, but to push you to learn, that person needs to be very strict with you because just I would say don't complain, learn, be ready to accept your mistake with an open mind. Don't let the ego come in. Yes, I was groomed. I would like to say I was groomed to become a writer. And also, it's very important to read a lot. Read a lot. It's one thing that on Saturday was a workshop. We're going to discuss about the pre-writing process, the stages and the 500 words rule, how writing you can make it a natural thing by inculcating. Yes. And also, I would like to congratulate edVentr, who is doing such an amazing job with regular workshop, spreading knowledge among the society to uplift and empower, particularly during such difficult times we're living with the COVID-19, the after effects of the pandemic. And today, as you well know, you better than me because you've been in an earlier role as a digital specialist, that's one thing we've been told that digital is the way.
Definitely. I mean, in terms of in your field, we've advanced from print to digital, and
Yes,
which is very very obvious. We tend to hold the phone or the computer or the tablet
yes.
before a paperback copy. Um, I mean, you've been a journalist. You've been writing for various publications, and where when you're writing for publications, you have to present a very unbiased, neutral perspective. Where
Yes.
you may yourself have certain biases, right? So is this a difficult task? Is it not being yourself when you're writing for a publication?
See, like you rightly told that we are all human beings. We have our own preferences on any ideologies that we have, but the world may see us in another way, but we see us in a completely different way. Like I wouldn't say difficult, no, because I've been wired right from the start in my head. I am a journalist. My aim is to present facts as it is. I am not here to impose a personal bias, a personal view on scheme of things. I may have my views on things, but the moment you're a journalist, remember, people trust you. You want people to know you as a good writer with good reputation, not as someone who will have subjective point of view that may harm a one specific person, that may harm society. And one thing I have learned is that you need to give the other person the impression that you're someone who is objective. You're not going to disappoint the person because it's a matter of trust. The moment you violate that trust, I believe that your career as a journalist is finished. It reflects badly on you. That's why I believe in something called a mission statement, which is all about my core values as a person: ethics, honesty, ability to deliver on time, never misquote someone. No, I don't think ideology should come in between when you're reporting a story, because as a journalist, what matters should be facts. And check and recheck your facts. Never portray someone in a bad light.
Mhm. Excellent. One very important quote is that pen is mightier than a sword, right? We would have
Yeah,
all heard. heard of this, right? While we were growing
Yeah.
up, which means that when you write, you have the power to influence people. Whether it is a newspaper article or an email, right? The impact that you create through your writing can really influence. You may present an idea, you may present an opinion, you may present an entire plan through your writing, and that can have major impact. And it stays, it has a shelf life, right? Even if it circulates, things, articles written in newspapers, we still quote of articles written years back, which remain
Yes,
with us,
I agree
which
with
are etched in our memories, or which have influenced us in a big way, right? How can people, any individual, any individual writes emails, any individual writes somewhere or the other, or communicates in some manner or the other, and how can one inculcate certain skills to be able to influence through what one is writing.
that. Well, one issue I have with social media, not really issue. I mean, we all are on social media. Well, Twitter, whenever something big erupts, of course, I'm not giving name of the country specific or in any place in the world. We see people, trolls, jump, they start making allegations without checking the facts, overlooking the fact that a case is in court. You cannot call someone a murderer, for instance. You cannot call someone a drug addict. Just giving you an example. But you, as a journalist, that's how you are all step in. I would say be responsible. Always report with facts. Um, yes, the pen is mightier than the sword. You need to be responsible. You must be able to shoulder your responsibility. Like I told you, never. And it's a challenge, especially in today's digital media age, where social media has made not all, perhaps some journalists overlook one fact, and it's pushing us to rush on who reports first. But that's in a way, even if you're in a rush, you want to break the story, it's similar like breaking news on TV. It's important to check your facts first and bring in responsible journalism. This is what I believe it's important, especially today's a big, one thing I would like to share with you. That time I was a journalist at the Independent. We used to have a briefing every day. That was 10 years back, 2010, 2012. So my mentor, she told one thing. You are not competing with print media. You are competing with the internet. But at that time, we didn't realize. We know that Facebook was there, website was there. Like if, like for instance, if I take the example in India, there were lots of website, information website, but we didn't realize what the power of the internet. As a print journalist, you are competing with the internet. We are like, okay, we took it for granted, but just look now how we are competing with the internet. Just to give an example, one newspaper in India post the pandemic has been closed. The print version, it has gone completely online. Just to give you an example on the power of the internet. And even in Mauritius, I see many websites are coming up now, and very few people I see are going through the entire print process, which is challenging in their own ways. So that's a big challenge for us since everyone is going on the internet. How to be responsible as a journalist, how to be responsible as a writer.
Definitely. It all started as a social network. Facebook used to be termed as a
Yeah,
social
that's
network,
true.
which has evolved into a category that is called social media. And in a
Yes.
similar manner, your responsible journalism has probably evolved to just responsible posts. Anybody today with a decent enough following is powerful enough to, again, create an influence. And at the same time, every individual with certain viewpoints or certain thought process or certain ideas has the power of gathering influencers, right? It has become a career option. You have your YouTube
True.
channels
I
with
agree with that.
vlogs. You have you become popular on Instagram with your photographs. You have following on Twitter. So these are seen as career options today, right? And how have you seen this evolution in terms of careers for people like you, who are skilled in the art of writing? So first you needed a platform, which is probably a newspaper or any publication, but now you have the social media. You can be popular, you can start writing. If your content is meaningful, you can also start earning money depending on the followers that you have. How do you see this evolution, and have you adapted to it?
First of all, the first social media that I knew in urban my life was hi-fi. I don't know whether many people, you must know about hi-fi. People send you requests, then you have friends, you have fans, and then there was something which I still prefer over Facebook is Orkut. It was nice, gave a very homely kind of domesticated kind of feeling, kind of thing, and then Facebook came with all the notification, but I never knew. If I go back to my college days or 10 years back, I never knew that Facebook would evolve into something big like social media, like digital media. It's true that many people are doing career on digital media, Instagram. I can see lots of people being there. Just to give an example, like maybe 10 years back, for a newspaper to publish a picture of a celebrity, they need to go to that person, do some photo shoot. Now you don't need to do that because most of the celebrities, they are putting all the pictures on Instagram, and all the newspapers are just going there, taking the pictures and putting on the newspaper on the news portal. To be very honest, it is challenging for many of us, for each one of us. Now, as a risk of repeating myself, particularly in the age of COVID-19, it's a huge challenge. We can see more and more people. Digital media was there before that, but it's nowadays more a challenge because people want to do business on digital media to cut cost. And for me, as a journalist, as a writer, like you rightly said, do I find it challenging? Yes. Do I find it overbearing at times? Yes. Because we need to be well prepared to face a whole changes. And now we don't know tomorrow, in the next 6 months, in the next 3 months, depending on how long the virus stays, to what extent our life will be completely altered by the force of digital media. And one thing I believe, to be able to adapt, I am ready to do courses, online courses, which I've been doing a bit of them. At the same time, I've been delivering courses through edVentr. I think doing courses, upskilling yourself, learning the intricacies of how digital media works would benefit a lot to me from a personal point of view, to other people also who wants to make a career, because nowadays we have digital journalists. Publications always look for social media curator. So the career options are huge, I believe. So the main thing is training, upskill, unlearn, and learn new things to be ahead of the curve.
Definitely, definitely. What will be your advice to the younger generation which aspires to be a writer, whether for some publication or for their own social media handle?
I think
What would be your recommendation to them?
the younger generation is a fantastic generation. They know so much about things. 18 years old, 20-year-old, they are well ahead. They have already the skills how to use social media. But yes, digital media or not, one thing I believe is that content. Your content matters a lot. Whether you're writing in a newspaper, print media, on Facebook, you want to make a name for yourself, or LinkedIn, anywhere your content matters. At the end of the day, it is your content, checking and rechecking facts. Make sure that if you're taking some statistics about some issues like the rise in the number of mobile phones, for instance, you quote the source. It matters a lot. Always quote the source. Reference is extremely important in today's time. I will insist on only one thing. Content is king or queen, whichever way, let's make it gender neutral. Content matters. And don't misreport, extremely important. Ethical values. And also, if you want to make a name on digital media, I think many people write articles on LinkedIn to earn a name for yourself. That can be and should be the call to action. And also on social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, make sure you engage with your followers, whether it's constructive criticism or whichever way, and get wisdom, reply to every comment. That's how you grow your tribe. And if you want to aspire to become a journalist, go and join Facebook page for journalists, Facebook page for aspiring writers to get ideas, to upskill yourself, to learn.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, you did a workshop with edVentr on careers in journalism, and which soon we will be converting into a course as well.
Yes.
Asking you a question, one, do share an overview of how do you see that workshop or course for people who may be interested. And secondly, I know globally people have a lot of options in terms of doing courses or diplomas and degrees in mass communication. Do we have similar options in Mauritius?
Perhaps when it comes to similar option, I may be the wrong person to comment on that. But yes, if we'll take it from a global perspective, like edVentr is organizing workshop. And the good thing about the workshop that edVentr is organizing, it's a workshop conducted online. Say someone from Dubai, someone from India want to join in, or any other country, of course, since it's conducted on the digital sphere. So I'll see it like that way. The world is becoming one nowadays, especially post pandemic, post everything. There are options online. Many people, of course, now even degrees are going online. So I think we need to look at it from a very global perspective. And as far as the workshop, yes, we are having a workshop on Saturday on magic of creative writing, and the workshop will be extremely interesting. We are going to speak about how, if you want to become a novel writer, first draft, your pre-writing process, the routine about writing, how digital media work, 500 words every day, sit for 15 minutes, how you settle yourself, challenges like mental block and editing. And also another thing I just learned this week about digital media, how much you should write in a blog. It's something that we are going to, it's very insightful, that we are going to speak on Saturday. How much should you write, 500 words or about 2000 words? It's very, very interesting. And the role of SEOs, search engine optimization, because today, if you want to start a blog, you cannot do it without SEOs. SEOs play as an important role.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've seen some of your workshops, and they are very high power and high intensity with a lot of passion. And I mean, of course, you have a lot of passion in your skill or your craft, and that is very evident. The way you deliver your workshops as well. One, you mentioned blogs. You are writing a blog. On I think which is focused on Bollywood, and has some following, I believe, from Mauritius as well as from India. What is your future plan? Blog is another very very independent medium for people to convey their views, and create a followership. What is your plan for the next few years with regards to the blog that you're writing?
The blog, it depends on, because the blog is an basically it's an I am based in Mauritius, but the blog is an Indian blog about the entertainment industry, about featuring young talent, not the mainstream actors who already made a name for themselves. But there are so many things that we can, and people that we can interview. Like I think there was this guy who made Jonathan Augustine, who made this movie The Leaf Boy. He did an interview with me. What the challenges that he faced as a indie filmmaker in making a film like The Leaf Boy, that kind of money, featuring young talents, which I plan to slowly branch into a content website. And blogging, I think one name that when we speak to blog on entertainment, one name that comes to my mind is Miss Malini. That there are many people who follow films and celebrities know how she started from scratch. At that time, 10 years back, 12 years back, we heard about blog. If at that time you ask me what is a blog, yeah, I have a blog, maybe my reaction would be, yeah, okay. It would be something very tough in my view, must be rocket science. But now I think everybody blog, whether celebrities, non-celebrities, about life and everything. Blog, it has a huge future. Yesterday I was reading an article in 2019. 2 million blog posts are published every day. Can you imagine that? The power of blogging. I think there's a huge future in blogging, but one thing is that I would like to share, many people blog just with the moolah in mind. They just want to make the money with the first post. I don't think it works that way. I think you need lots of passion, lots of hard work. Digital media or not blogging or print, one thing is a determination to write consistently, hard work, persevere, to persevere. Nothing replaces those qualities that can be nurtured over time. Yes, I want to convert my entertainment blog into a website and bringing good stories to the people.
Excellent. No, there is. I mean, it's endless opportunity. You know, especially
Not
with the
huge.
digital platform and all the social media channels. The way you can you can create a following is I mean the opportunity is endless. And excellent. On that note, we would like to thank you, Vishal. It was really
Thank you so
interesting
much,
having this
Sanjeev.
conversation with you.